Hello, everybody. We are back with episode Nuevo
Episode something.
9. I blanked on it just now what 9 was in Portuguese. Don't blame me, teacher. But I forgot. Oito, nove. Nove. Okay. Episode nove. Okay. All right. We have a special guest today. You know me, 8-time figure Olympia champion Sydney Gillen, and my coach.
Yeah, Damian Segovia.
And
Hello.
guess what? He has a new athlete. Because he's trying to replace me, guys. And so, introduce yourself to my friend, my beautiful, gorgeous friend over here. For those of you who don't know, which you probably do. Who are you?
Lauralie. Hi, everybody. Hi, Sid. So happy to be on here. Definitely a fan of the pod, so I'm glad to be invited here. But my name is Lauralie Chapados, 2024 Miss Bikini Olympia, 3-time Arnold Classic champion. And this is my new coach.
I don't like how she's sitting up higher than me. She's trying to make her seat taller
It's the
than
choice,
me.
though. She is tall. She's long.
There you go.
I'm shrinking myself.
There you go. That looks better.
Okay, so this is super exciting. I love this new combo of my favorite people getting together and doing great things. So what's this been like? Let's backtrack. We all watched the O.
I would like this.
Well, I'm telling you, I came back from my Hall of Fame thing, get my little medal, and I'm pulling up everything. Like, Sid, you gotta get here, I was like, what's going on? And I look up, I said, what's going on? And so I'm like, see what's going on. So what went on?
At the Olympia. I mean, to keep it short, like a short answer, I think the week of the Olympia, let's back it up to 2 weeks. So 2 weeks out, I'm going to Pittsburgh. I go there, I get my feedback. It's not looking good, but having 2 weeks in bodybuilding can be a lot of time to like turn things around. What they wanted, or what they said to me they wanted, was harder and more condition, right? So I think from there, I flew to California. I stayed with Kim, and Kim and I just like refined the things that we normally do, like the same thing that we did last year, like trying to mimic the exact same thing. And then the week the Olympia came in, and, there's a lot of things that have happened, just women's things or whatever. And the body fought, we tried to fight back, but I think it was too late. And then looking back at exactly what happened, I think it's a whole year scenario, right? Like when you were competing for the Olympiads, it's a whole year thing. And my year from winning the Olympia to competing again at the Olympia a year after, like not doing any shows in between, I think that hasn't helped my physique. And then Damian can kind of go into kind of what he feels like has been happening on a more like long-term scale, because we discussed about that too, like what happened with my physique on a long-term scale type
what did you see?
I just think for her, I think she was a little bit before of her time in bikini. She had that, like I told her when we talked, she had that physique that all my bikini athletes looked up to, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. And it was a little bit advanced. And so when that happens in a sport, you're told to tone it down, to backtrack a little bit. And what happened is the gas was being, the foot was being let off the gas. But then the division started doing this, and it never, and the gas never got pressed again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not by anyone's fault. It's just that's you're doing what is causing you to get better placement to eventually win the title. So you assume this is, what I should still be doing because this is what's working. And I think everyone else stepped on the gas last year, and it was still cruise control for Lauralie, and it just, she got bypassed.
Yeah.
Because I'm just saying now the girls are very athletic. They're very muscular, not in a bad muscular way. The judges have done a very good job at keeping them balanced, but they are very athletic now. And Lauralie was that long before she probably should have been. And just got to get back to that look. Just that look that every girl I know that was in bikini that wanted to look like, you know what I mean?
So what was it like for you, Lauralie, being on stage, and you know what it's like to win? You won numerous big titles, not just regular shows, big titles. What was it like? What goes through your head when you're there and you're not at the center box? Like, what was the thought process? Because I know going in, everybody goes in to win, especially as a returning champion. What was that thought process when you see that it wasn't clicking how you would have expected it to click?
I knew whenever, you get the first look, on stage. I got off from stage. I was like, I don't know what was that, but that was not me. I already knew. I was in my head. Like, I think Lauralie in 2024 was Lauralie with her heart. And like, I need to be there. I was so in my head. I got like hot, like just, it was just not me. And I was like, what the F was that? For lack of like better language. Like, I was like, what the F was that? And that's all I could tell. So I kind of knew from there, like I was not able to bounce back. Like I was just in a different like space. And I just knew it wasn't my fight. But already then, I feel like when I turned around during my posing routine, I started feeling embarrassed. And I think that's where like I was like, damn, I everything that I thought it was, because obviously like these doubts like crossed my mind during my prep. You know, I was like, I don't know the glutes. And then obviously the noise around me is also loud. Like, you know, people giving me feedback throughout my prep. And I'm just like, I'm trying not to get inside my head here. I'm trying to get, you know, Kim to do his job. My other, you know, people around my team to do their jobs. And so that was just, you know, difficult for me to be on stage with that physique, like knowing that I haven't competed. And that's the second, like I'm going for my title, you know, to retain my title. And I looked good. Like everybody was really hyped to see me because like, you know, I looked very healthy and I was like in a very good place mentally. Like everything felt really good, but the physique was not there. So, you know, to me now it's really back to base, and it reminds me of the grind that I had when I was like 17 years old, and just going back to the drawing board and like having that grind. And it's funny because I just went to like upstate New York for the holidays with my family, and you know, dealing with the snow and like going to train and like, you know, driving and like it's ice outside and everything. And I was just like, wow, that's what I used to do, you know, like back in the days, like everything was just difficult, you know, like two jobs, dealing with two jobs, plus the snow, plus, you know, it's dark outside, your family is going on Christmas, but you just got to stay locked in. So for me, that was very like grounding, and like humbling. So yeah, we're just back to work, but yeah. Yeah.
So what is that like for you, D? Because I know with me and you, it became pressure on both of us. I had my job, you had your job. What's it like bringing on somebody who is of Lauralie's stature and has the background she has? What's it like for you as a coach bringing that on and being like, all right, now she's with me. What does that feel like for you internally? What does that work in terms of your processes and how you move forward?
You know, it's exciting, yeah, because I honestly, you know, obviously you retired, you know what I mean, and I'm used to functioning at a high level with multiple athletes at the Olympia, so you know, bringing her into the fold is just like it's like clockwork all over for me, you know. It's just business as usual. Like I don't really get that stressed anymore. Having a heart attack will do that to you. You learn to not stress about shit you can't control. So me, I enjoy the pressure. I enjoy that weight on my shoulders. I've had it with you for many years, with Drea, other Olympia, you know, holders that I've had. It's I don't know. I thrive in that. That's what I look forward to. You know what I mean? I don't not like having that. You know what I mean? And so like honestly, when you retired on that Friday night, I was like, that was the first time I ever enjoyed our process, and the first time I ever was like, yeah, this was fun. You know, because I never had a chance. I never had a chance to do that before. I tell people that I never once processed it. I knew you was gonna ask me for a freaking diet 2 hours later. I knew it was gonna be back to normal. So for me, it was like, okay. And then Saturday morning hit and I panicked and I'm like, oh shit. Like I gotta find someone to fill that hole. You know, that's all I've been used to doing is pushing and pushing and pushing. So, you know, Drea, everyone else, you know, as like, okay, who's next? So when she came along, when she reached out, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm definitely game. You know what I mean? Definitely game. Kim and I are really good friends. So I was like, I love being a part of what you guys do. And for me, I already kind of knew what went wrong. You know, like I told you, I already saw the patterns. I already had seen the de-evolution of Lauralie. You know what I mean? You know, and so I was like, that ain't it. You know, like it's not it. So for me, it's a good challenge. But at the end of the day, we're going to put the best physique on stage. Whether it's good enough to keep winning, that's not up to us. You know what I mean? But we'll put the best version of her on stage with the amount of time we got. And then we'll do Pittsburgh and it'll be a better version. And then we'll do Olympia and it'll be fucking lights out. It's just, you know, it's what we do. Like, you know how we do things. I don't miss. you know, and if the judges like it, great. If they don't, you know, if they don't,
Okay.
you know, then we'll get feedback and we'll go. But we ain't gonna be off. Like I don't show up with the fucking Olympia off, Arnold off. So
Lauralie, when did you know it was your time to pivot? Was there like a, you know, all right, this is what I need something different? When was that? When did that click for you?
I want to say it was a process of just a couple weeks, you know, because initially I was very headstrong on, I gave my word to Kim, like, this is who I'm going to finish my career with. And I'm very loyal, sometimes loyal to a fault. And I mean, I think is first of all, like, I needed to understand like what exactly went on, right? Like, let's be like, let's put it straight. And, you know, I've asked people around me, you know, what they went on. And
talk to Honey.
yeah, so yeah, I didn't know if I could put it on there, but I talked with Hani, and I was like, this is not it. And I told him exactly what happened. He was like, I think you're spot on with that. And then it just started to misalign a little bit. And I was like, I don't know who he would be. And then I was on a flight, and Damian names crossed my mind, and I was like, that would be perfect, you know?
Yeah, and I was at a show and she texted me and said, can we talk? And I already knew what it was about. We had I already had put that shit out in the universe, you know what I mean? I saw Olympia, I put it out in the universe, and I would say, hey, like, you know, so when she said, can we talk? I said, 100%.
Yeah, because you saw me like in Vegas a couple of times. I was downstairs kind of like doing my whole fill out situation, and he saw me, and I was just like, it's just interesting how things are put in the universe, you know? And yeah, I think it went by phases, but I think it was really clear that the alignment wasn't there anymore. And I kind of also know in my body, like, now how it feels to be how I'm supposed to be. So I need someone that is able to say, hey, what you're seeing, like, you're not delusional. Like, when he called me, he was like, your body went backwards for like a long period of time. I was like, thank you. Like, I'm not delusional. And then we can start there and be like, hey, okay, so then what do you think happened in the Olympia? That happened in the Olympia. Okay, good. Now it's not going to happen again, because we're both aware of what happened. So let's make sure that's not happening again ever. So now, I mean, we're doing things like I've never done before. Yeah. But then today, again, I was like, respect on your name, said, like, big time, because I was like, yeah, doing it 8 times is really hard to fathom. And, like, you know, seeing here, like, how he works with, like, the dynamic of people and stuff is very impressive. Yeah, impressive. But I think that's what you need to, like, not only win a title, but hold the title for so long, and also be like that type of person that can wear those shoes, like, very, like, in a big responsibility way, like, responsive way. You know?
Do you think, because I always say when a lot of people going to trying to attain that second title, Linda will tell you, I'll tell you, that going towards that second one, it'll tell you a lot of things. Do you think that also weighed into it when you add on other things going on? Do you think that was a part of it?
What do you mean?
So like
the weight and the pressure of it.
The weight of everything, trying to get that title and trying to show, like, okay, be consistent.
It did. You just haven't recognized it yet.
Probably.
So going into this Olympia prep, you'll have a different feeling, and you'll understand the difference. So,
yeah.
Because now you're fighting again and you're chasing. So for us, for me, yeah. For you people out there listening, like, the chase is easy, because you should the target's in front of you. You know how fast they moving. You know what they look like. Man, that's, you know. But if you ever been chased by a dog before, that shit is scary, because you're too afraid to look over your shoulder so you don't get bit in the ass. So you keep looking forward, and you running as fast as you can, hoping you're running faster than a dog behind you is trying to bite your ass. So, because if you look over your shoulder, you're gonna trip and your ass is gonna get ate up. So I don't think people realize. You did, said it. You told me it took you till like maybe your third until you finally was like, you wasn't tripping no more.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think you recognize it yet. I think going through this year, you'll recognize the difference of that weight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People don't realize it, because again, you're being told, like, you look great, don't change a thing, but in your mind, how do you train to not get better?
Right. Yeah.
How do you train to stay the same?
Yeah, it's hard.
It's weird. You know what I mean? So, like, Sid and I, what we did is we always picked something to focus on. Didn't matter what it was. 1 year it was calves, 1 year it was bring the shoulders up, arms down, 1 year waistline. It was always something. And it always equated to a better overall look, you know. Same her. People don't realize, a lot of people, you guys listen, Sid was always within 2 pounds of her stage weight from her very first Olympia to her last one. You know what I mean? Like, we kept within like 2 pounds up or down, but it looked 10 pounds different, you know, by the time you know, your first to your eighth. I won't lie though, that eighth one,
That
though,
thing was nice,
I told people, I said, I kind of suspected it might be her last. So I said, if it is, we're gonna fuck some people up. So I was like, I'm going all out. I don't give a shit.
That was by far my favorite. Everything came together. I mean, hair, skin, nails, body, face, energy. We was in there like, you know what, we just here. Vibing.
Yeah.
It was sad.
I love this. And like saying that happened like at your eighth, it's wild. You know, it's insane. Insane.
But I think for her, she had a mental like closure, so it was different. Her body didn't have that stress and pressure of like, it's like almost like me. It's like every year I was like, I have to save something so we have something to keep getting better on. When I kind of was new and it was probably her last, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna hit this thing out the park. Like I don't have to save anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then people was chirping the year before, you know, and saying stuff. It was, you know, and I don't like when people talk. So like people talking about her, and I'm like, y'all keep talking. What you don't realize is I like that shit. That's fuel for my tank. You know, I know all the prep coaches is talking because everyone's like, oh well, you know, D hasn't done bikini in this in a while. I'm like, people don't understand is female divisions is divisions. They're the same. Physiques is physiques. Physiques is physiques. You know what I mean? That ain't no different. Some a little bigger, some a little harder, some a little, a little leaner. I'm over here choking, getting hyped up about it.
Lauralie, get in the picture too. Scoot over. There you go. Yeah, for those while he's over there dying, I'm gonna talk for him. So yeah, he loves. If I tell him, I remember one time, I forgot what happened. Somebody talked junk. Mind you, y'all know I don't be paying attention to nobody, but somebody sent me something, so I had to be paying attention to it, and I tried to tell that person, hey, don't send me nothing else. But once they say they sent it, I said, Ford, here's what they said, Coach. He said, yeah. Me and D, see, I'm a quiet version. D quiet too, but D love it. I don't love to be talked about. Y'all can leave me the hell alone. I like to mind my business. I don't do nothing to nobody. But if you gonna talk, I like to play. I like to play. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure you get played with. So it's this type of energy we go perfectly together.
Yeah. I tell people you gotta love the hate, just like Kobe said. You gotta love the hate.
That's right. Okay, so I know he ain't gonna answer this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. What can we expect for y'all? What's the look? What are we going for? Because we can't say going for old Lauralie because old Lauralie was like it's a different person. You're a different person now. So we can't be going for old Lauralie. You're grown. And a grown body get to looking a little bit different. It's real, it's like it's giving grown. When that grown comes in, it changes some. I'm telling people don't realize half of the battle besides D doing his work is me just getting older and sitting there doing the same thing I do. And get older. It makes everything better if you're doing the right things throughout the years prior to. So I think what's gonna happen, guys?
You think it makes everything better? I think it makes
everything better. Older? If you're done with what you
I'm struggling over here.
If you do what you need to do, I think to make it better. Well, from my perspective is if we're talking about the more muscular categories, you need that type of density. That takes years of training.
It's like the polishness.
Yeah, so I need it for my category. Bikinis look, well, y'all are more athletic now. So
they're a lot denser. Yeah.
No, we definitely need the density for sure.
Yeah.
What would you say? For me right now, everything is different. So like I'm really just
I don't know what look you want to see. Like you don't want to walk in it.
I mean, I want the glutes, obviously. I want, the cap shoulders. I want no traps, like a really good tight waist, hourglass shape, like very, very like Lauralie 2024, but like times 10 type thing. But without people being like, wow, this is like almost too much. You know what I mean? So I think he's a good judge of that. He was like, what we're going to bring to the Arnold is going to be good. What we're going to bring to Pittsburgh is going to be even better. And then Olympia's going to be lights out. And I think that vision itself is what's going to create a very polished, like outstanding physique that can just be again, like undeniable. Like I have a structure that is not really favored right now. Like if you look at the top 5, like it's a top 5 of like shorter girls or like a little bit more, it's just easier to put density on. Whereas like in the past, I would have Janet, that would be helpful, or like Etta was like 5'8", like these type of physique, like a bit longer limbs, used to be in my favor, I feel like. But yeah, again, like you're asking me a question that I haven't had a chance to talk about or to even think about, because I'm just like, let's bring it on to the Arnold, because like this past Olympia, like that was the reset, my full reset. Like we need to build on that physique. And I did feel like I've lost a lot of years, and I kind of came to D and a little bit in like a negative mindset. It was, in the first place, it was like he had to like be straight shooter with me and just be like, you gotta leave that behind, because you just feel like you lose 2 years like of your life of training, and it's like it's hard to forgive yourself to whatever happened in your personal life, to be like, hey, I've really let myself down to a point where like I missed repeating a title. Like, I had a number of titles I wanted in my head. Like now the Shrek is off. You know what I mean? Or like whatever I put into my head, like I didn't deliver that. So yeah.
I think for her, she's still learning to be as intelligent when it comes to training as she is. Like both of you guys are very intelligent athletes. Lauralie, I think for a long time was being told, this is, like, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And I think it worked to a certain extent, but then it also caused her to lose her own ability to think for herself. And athletes, when you guys get to the level you guys have both been at, you have to be able to think for yourself. You have to be able to give feedback. You have to be able to, do what you need to do other times when you don't have someone there holding your hand. And so I think for her, she was really lost. She felt really upset that like she just was like, I lost 2 years. There's no way, I've lost all my muscle. And I'm like, no, you just need to get back to doing the basics. And so that's basically what we're doing, is just relearning and implementing basic movements. You know what I mean? Not trying to get overly creative, but just with everything, like her eating times, her patterns of what time she goes to bed, what time she wakes up, like just getting really, really consistent. So that way the body can be programmed in a way that when we ask it to do something, it's going to respond. And if it doesn't, then I know we got a problem before we got the problem. You know what I mean? And so it's just reprogramming. It's reprogramming everything. I don't think she's ever had been forced to do that. I think it's always been kind of like, when you guys have a lot of responsibilities, social media, photo shoots, you have a lot of sponsors, you get pulled in a lot of different directions. You were always really good at, you knew when to shut down your posing clients, you knew when to shut down travel, you knew when to shut down Instagram. And so it's programming that into her to understand there's a reason why we did that. We did that for a very specific reason. So that way, the week of Olympia, we never had hiccups. We've never had one Olympia where it was like, oh, fuck, this happened. What do I do? Nothing ever happened because we always controlled those variables. We always made sure we had control over them. So I'm trying to program her body to understand that and accept it. So that way, if something does come up, we've already thought about it. In my head, it's already been processed before it happens.
Yeah, and it gets easier for me, like even right now, to know what I need, and I think that's what you've been good at, Sid. Like you just knew what you needed for the most part. When you needed to shut down social media, when you needed to say no to things. And like I'm just starting to be able to like do that like wholeheartedly and not wanting to diverge from my routine, and in respect for D, obviously, for what he pours in, but also in respect for me and my vision and my career now. Like who knows how much longer I have, but I'm sure as hell I'm not doing this Olympia again. That was the worst.
But that's the thing too. And when you say you lost 2 years, I wouldn't look at it as a loss. You needed those 2 years. You needed exactly what happened to happen in order for you to become the woman who you are becoming right now. Without that, you would have still been doing the same things.
No, I know. Yeah, that's what Heal Woman says. But yeah, no, totally.
Like, I'm taking my work.
Yeah. No, listen, Sid, honestly, 1000%. Like if ever jump back on a podcast and want to talk about just the psychology aspect of it and the personal life of it, like absolutely. Like I knew at this Olympia, I was like, 6th place. I've never been on the top 5 ever in my career. Like there has to be something bigger for me than that. And that's just a reset, like completely mentally. And D knows he wouldn't be coaching me if I had my past life. He told me.
It would have been a lot going on.
I mean, it wouldn't have fly. You know what I mean? Like he was like, you're gonna. What's the first thing he told me? I mean, my sleep schedule. You're gonna eat 2 hours before bed. Like that doing? Alone was just.
Friend, what?
Eating at 10:30 at night and going laying down right afterwards, staying up till like 11. You know, like nothing consistent. And that's the thing is that I think for athletes, when you guys don't program, if you're real serious about anything you do in life, whether it's being a parent, whether it's having a job, whether it's, you know what I mean, competing as an athlete, professional, you have to make the things in your life fit what you're going after, what your goal is to be. You have to make it fit. And I think for her, she never programmed that. So like when adversity hit her going into Olympia, her body and her mind didn't know how to respond to it. You know, she had some things come up in her personal life that she didn't know how to respond to. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't know about you, Sid. You had stuff going on with family a couple Olympias going into.
Right.
You know what I mean? That no one knew about, you know what I mean? Except for, you know, your immediate family and me. And so it's like, it never affected us because in the end of the day, we had a job to do and we was going to do that job, you know? And so I think for her, I'm trying to get her mind to be able to understand that. So that way, when things do come up, you still can keep work through them. You know what I mean? It's just life. Life's always going to punch you in the mouth when you least expect it. It just is what it is.
I think that's the benefit too, and for those listening about creating a set schedule. When you create a set schedule, it's always like your fallback. It's like your safety blanket. It's your little teddy bear you always keep with you. When everything else is chaotic, I know at this time of day, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing it this time, at this time. It's like getting that little bit of control back because you can only control what you can control. And one thing you can do is the food you put in your mouth for the most part and the time in which you're putting said food into your most part and everything else, when all the things you can kind of put your hands on, the more tangible things. So I think that always benefit me for the routine portion. But it also, like Dee said, is again controlling the variables. I knew, again, if I'm checking in with D at this amount of time, I stop eating at a certain amount of time to make sure every single time I'm checking in, we know it's not poop in there. It's not dehydration because I'm drinking the same amount of water every single day. I finish the last meal, which is usually the same meal every single day. So that way I'm just like, oh, I don't freak out because I know that I've done everything I need to do. As long as I do everything I need to do, the rest is not my job. That's my coach's job. I don't get paid for that. I just be over here doing what I'm told by the person I trust to keep me alive and doing what we need to do. But of course, it helps him too because as I'm going to call him the scientist. As a scientist, again, any scientist, you don't want to have multiple variables changing because you don't know what that change is actually coming from. And so if you can stabilize all the things as much as possible, you know where it's coming from. For instance, if I have like, okay, if I'm doing everything right, period comes, all right, that's period. He'll be like, leave everything the same. We move on, everything goes back regular. If it's stress, we know it's stress. Get out of that environment. This is why I always go to his house. I'm over at his house. Can't you not finna stress me all the way over here? You're not allowed to. Because guess what? I just won't talk to you. Because I don't have to see you anyway. A win's a win. So there's all these barriers you set up because at the end of the day, this is what I'm trying to do. If you're not trying to see me do it or do it with me, you can get the hell on. Because this is what I got going on. You don't have to be here. And so I think when people get a little bit more strict, the difference is, Dee always says this though, I came in competing. A lot of people are competing after their lives are already set. So when I'm saying these things, I'm saying from a person who is, this is what you met when you got here. So you can't ask me for nothing different because this is what you met when I got here. Okay? You knew what I was doing. But for the other people like the moms and stuff who start competing at like 50, you can't all of a sudden tell your child, hey, blah, blah, blah. You can check some things, but you can't be as strict as I was necessarily. You can set your boundaries a little bit differently. So take that where you need it for those who have different life things as me. I can be a hard ass because I ain't got no kids. I am solo dolo. I can do whatever I want. You don't have to be here. So win for me. Win for you. Okay? Get strict, baby. Mm-hmm. Get strict.
You're strict. Yes, it's strict here for sure. For sure. Yeah, I think, you know, bodybuilding can be such a great core in your life because it's something that you can't control at the end of the day. But I think, like you said, I think I always made it work, but making it work doesn't necessarily make you like keep your title, unfortunately, you know? And I think that's what happened. Yeah, and again, it's like trusting the coach that they also know what you need in order to get yourself there. So he asked me a lot of questions, which even that for me was kind of hard in the beginning, like, you know, learning to kind of communicating with like ask the other question, but what really do you mean by that? And I ended up like appreciating that, you know, before I would kind of get choked up a little bit. But yeah, so now it's, you know, it's easier now.
She was in her feelings a little bit. We ain't got no time for feelings, you know.
But also, I think too is D know with me, I'm an open book. I be spilling everything. That man know how long the period is, what the color look like, I just you can't say I ain't tell you. I'm an over communicator, so I will say communicate with your coach. I also know them. I don't think I ever asked you if you were okay with half the shit I told you, but I was like, hey, you need to know these things. If it affects my body, everything around me affects my body. He needs to know. And that requires a certain level of trust with said coach too. So you can't give that to everybody. If your coach is trash, don't be telling him your whole business. Okay, guys. Let's do some discernment. Yeah. But if you know that person has your best interest at heart, you just gotta tell it. So that way we move forward. Cause y'all are a team.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, you know, that's both sides' responsibility too. And I think sometimes my communication, you know, could it have been better with Kim, you know, back in the days? Maybe. I don't know, you know, but there's so many things that has happened. I feel like with the sport, with the standard, with, you know, my body. So, you know, there's a lot of things that doesn't fly on his radar, you know what I mean? And he's very strict. So I'm stricter in my life for sure right now. But
I love this journey.
Good times. Yeah.
I like to see people getting strict. It's my favorite pastime. I like to see people setting good boundaries, you know, say no. I love to see it.
Yeah, she getting better. She getting better. We'll be well on the machine by the time Olympia comes around, you know.
I'll be excited to watch. All right. Anybody else y'all want to shout out before we close out? This has been great. Look at this.
Oh, thank you, Sid. No, I mean, people know, you know, like my sponsor, I'm obviously very, you know, Team Eva Gin, all of us three over here. Love it. Thank you for having me. And yeah, follow us on social media, the producer.
I don't do much on social media. You follow her and then
you follow some stories, guys. If you got some progress going, I said, oh, who is this? It's a new man.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, guys. This has been Cylence Unlocked with 8-time figure Olympia champion Sydney Gillen and my coach.
Damian
and our
Segovia.
Special guest,
Lauralie Chapados.
And I hope you have enjoyed it again. This is Eva Gin Elite Team. Don't be using my code. Don't use my code. Don't you hear me? All right, y'all. We're out.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.